My beloved child, pause everything and listen to me. Do not let another second slip past you unnoticed, because what I am about to speak carries the full weight of heaven. I will not wait another moment. This is for you. I am calling you by name, drawing you into this moment with purpose, urgency, and love. Lean in now, because what I am revealing is meant to shift you, awaken you, and break through everything that has tried to silence your spirit. Listen closely. This is your turning point. You need to hear this now, not later, not someday, not when you finally feel like you have it all together, but right now in this very moment. That is why I'm leaning in close to you and refusing to stay silent any longer. Right now, place your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and quietly say, "Speak, Lord." I know you have been moving through your days with a weightier early name. There is a quiet touch in the background of your thoughts, and I have watched it all, not as a distant observer, but as the one who has never taken his eyes off you for even a single heartbeat. You have wondered if is you. You have wondered if I heard the prayers you'd not even know how to form into words, the ones that come out as tears on your pillow, or the way you stare at the ceiling when the room is dark and the world is quiet. I tell you now, I have heard every whisper, every question, and every silent why buried in your chest. I draw you close in this moment because I do not want another second to pass with you believing that you are unseen, unheard, or unloved. If what I've said touches your soul, whisper or think the words, "I am seen." Let that truth land inside you. You often think you speak only in big moments, in thunder, in miracles, in open doors, or dramatic rescues. But I have been speaking to you in the small moments too. I spoke in the way the sunrise touched your window. I spoke in the unexpected encouragement that came from someone you barely know. I spoke in the way your heart kept beating through nights you thought you wouldn't emotionally survive. I am not far away. I am nearer than the thoughts racing through your mind, nearer than the breath rising and falling in your chest. I am the one who has walked beside you in every season, even in the ones where you felt completely alone. You've assumed that my silence meant absence or anger or disappointment in you. But I tell you this, even when you did not feel me, I was holding the very structure of your life together. I have been guarding you from things you never knew threatened you, redirecting steps you thought were delayed, and answering prayers in ways you could not yet recognize. You carry questions like, did I mess up too badly? Did I miss my chance? Am I too late? Am I too broken to be used or too weary to be restored? Listen, to would not be speaking to you now if your story were finished. I would not be drawing you close if your life were a lost, because you are not an afterthought. You are not the one I ever looked to bless someone else. I long for you with a love that doesn't cool down, does not fade with time, and doesn't change with your failures or your victories. I call you beloved, not as a poetic title, but as the truest name over you. As you heard these words, I am leaning over the walls of your fear. I am stepping through the doors of your doubt and placing my hand gently yet firmly upon your heart. I want you to feel the weight of my presence more than you feel the weight of your anxiety. I want you to know that this is not random. This is not a coincidence. This is a holy interruption. I am breaking into the regular rhythm of your day to tell you what your soul has longed to hear. You are loved, you are seen, you are held, and I will not stay silent another moment while any other voice tries to convince you otherwise. Stand if you can. Lift your face and say aloud or in your heart, I am loved, I am held. Let it change the way you breathe. I need you to hear this with the full weight of my nearness. I have watched every silent battle you've endured. Even the ones you told none about. Even the ones you tried to pretend didn't hurt you as deeply as they did. There hasn't been a single tear you shed in the dark, nor one moment where you stared off into the distance trying to steady yourself that escaped my notice. You think that because you didn't speak it out loud, it somehow stayed hidden from me. But child, nothing in your inner world is invisible to me. I know the moments when your mind spirals faster than you can slow it down. I know the exact second your heart sinks after a disappointment. Even if you put a smile on your faces, so others won't worry. I know the weight behind your sighs, the exhaustion behind your laughter, and the longing behind your determination. I want you to understand that my watching is never passive. It is never cold observation. When I watch you fight these silent battles, I am not simply witnessing. I am supporting, sustaining, holding, and covering you in ways you do not always perceive. And in me, you to understand something else. Your silent battles are not signs of weakness. They are signs of endurance. They are signs that you kept going when giving up felt easier. Signs that you pushed forward when your soul felt tired. I honor that in you. I do not judge you for the nights you struggled or the days you felt like you were barely holding together. Your battles have not made you less. They have made you deeper, wiser, more compassionate, and more aware of what truly matters. You did not walk through these struggles alone, even when it felt like you did. I was there in the moments you thought you were unseen. I was there in the moments you felt misunderstood. I was there when you whispered into your pillow, not knowing if anyone heard. I did. And because I have seen it all, because nothing about you is hidden from me, I will not allow you to keep carrying these battles as if you were alone in them. I will not let you believe the lie that you must stay strong on your own. I have watched, and now is stepping, not because you failed, but because you've endured long enough without the comfort, clarity, and strength. I have been waiting. To give you, listen closely. I am not circling around your pain, your confusion, or your fears. I am confronting them directly because they have tormented you long enough. You have gone through seasons where it felt like you were fighting shadows, nameless anxieties, and unspoken burden. You tried to push through them with logic, with distraction, with busyness, with strength you didn't even want to admit was running out. But my child, I am not the God who dances around the edges of your heart. I am the God who walks straight into the areas you wish you could have. Avoid the feelings you try to bury and the questions you hesitate to voice. You don't scare me. Your wounds don't repel me. Your uncertainties don't frustrate me. You don't have to tidy yourself up to have my attention. I am already here in the messy you feel embarrassed by. You have wondered why some parts of your life feel stuck, why some patterns keep repeating, why certain wounds never seem to fully heal. You thought it was because something was wrong with you. But I lay out this is because those things require my touch, not just your strength. And today I am placing my hand on the areas that you have been afraid to look at. I am addressing the disappointment you swallowed. I am addressing the betrayal you tried to outrun. I am addressing the fear that has shaped more of your decisions than you have ever admitted. I am addressing the exhaustion that has settled into your bones, the kind that sleep doesn't fix. I am addressing the inner conflict that has made you feel torn between who you were, who you are, and who you hope to become. Take a moment and write down one thing you're ready to hand over right now. Name it, release it. I address these things not to shame you, but to free you. Is peak life where despair has lived? Is peak clarity where confusion has clouded your vision? Is peak healing where pain has rooted itself? Is peak truth over the lies you have unknowingly agreed with? I don't bring up your struggles tore open your wounds. I bring them up to close them in a way that ensures they never reopen again. You don't have to fear what I am touching in your life. Everything I address, I de-dress with the intention to restore, strengthen, and transform. Before you even breathe out the next question on your heart, I need you to know this: I've already seen every question that has been weighing on your soul, and I'm not afraid of any of them. There are questions you have held inside for years. Questions about your purpose, about timing, about failure, about love, about pain, about your worth, about the future, and about the past. Some of these questions have been so heavy that you have grown used to the weight, as if the uncertainty was something you were meant to carry forever. You've asked me in your quiet moments, why did this happen? What am I supposed to do now? Where do I go from here? When will things change? How much more can I endure? And you have often wrestled with the fear that asking these things made you doubtful, weak, or ungrateful. But Herma, now your questions do not threaten me. They invite me. They draw me closer to the deepest part of you, the part you rarely let anyone see. I do not rebuke you for asking. I do not roll my eyes at your confusion. I do not dismiss your longing for answers. I hold each question carefully, like something sacred, because they reveal the honest places of your heart. You do not have to pretend with me. You do not have to hide the H beneath your faith, or the uncertainty behind your hope. I already know the thoughts that haunt you before sleep. I already know the worries that gnaw you when you wake. I know the questions you fear might never be answered, and I come to you now not to silence those questions, but to walk you through them. Some answers will come quickly, some slowly, some in whispers, some in revelation, and some in ways you won't recognize until later. But I promise you this, none of your questions will be ignored. None of them are foolish, none of them disqualify you from my presence, and none of them will remain unanswered forever. I speak no because is the weight you carry, and I will not let you continue living with the belief that you are navigating life blindly. You are not abandoned in confusion. You are being guided, shaped, and prepared, even in the questions you fear the most. There is a stirring inside you that you have tried to explain to others but couldn't. So let me be the one to tell you what it truly is. It is the hunger I placed within you, and I am responding to it right now. You felt it in the quiet moments when everything external seemed fine. But something deeper whispered, there must be more. That whisper was not dissatisfaction with life. It was a divine pull, a holy longing, as a restlessness reminding you that you were created for something greater than the routine you have settled into. This hunger has kept you awake at night, not with anxiety, but with a yearning you couldn't name. It has nudged you forward when part of you wanted to stay still. It has made you uncomfortable in places you once fit into easily. It has made you question things you once accepted without a second thought. And every time you felt that internal tug, you assumed something was wrong with you. But child, something was awakening in you. I have watched this hunger grow inside you, not to torment you, but to guide you. It was never meant to frustrate you. It was meant to lead you toward me, toward clarity, toward purpose, toward transformation. This hunger is the reason you feel unsettled in places where others seem content. It is the reason you cannot stay stagnant even when you try. It is the reason old routines no longer satisfy you, old desires no longer drive you, and old versions of yourself no longer feel like home. And because of this hunger is sacred, I will not ignore it. You have asked for direction, for meaning, for a sense of who you truly are and what you are meant to become. And this hunger is my answer. I am drawing you deeper, not because you are failing where you are, but because you have outgrown what was once right for you. I am responding to your desire to live a life that is vibrant, meaningful, and aligned with the person it made you to be. You don't have to fear this hunger. You don't have to suppress it. You do not have to apologize for it. This desire for more is not lionitis revelation, and now that you have felt it, you cannot go back to pretending you're satisfied with less than what I have prepared for you. Before your mind can wander into doubt, let me tell you plainly, I am stepping closer to you now, closer than the thoughts you are thinking, closer than the air filling your lungs, closer than any human has ever been able to stand beside you. You have gone through seasons where I felt distant, where my presences seemed faint, where your prayers felt like they were hitting a ceiling. You interpreted my silence as absence, but idly out as I have never not for a single moment been far from you. You just didn't always know how to recognize my nearness. There were times when pain made it hard for you to feel anything. There were times when disappointment numbed you. There were times when stress drowned out the whisper of my voice. And there were times when you assumed that because you couldn't sense me, I must know they've been there. But here's what you didn't realize. I was closer to you in those seasons than you ever imagined. You see, my nearness does not depend on your ability to perceive it. My closeness is constant, unmoving, unwavering, and unaffected by your emotions or circumstances. I have been sitting with you in your loneliness, strengthening you when you didn't know how to continue, holding you together in ways you couldn't see, and now, because the time has come for you to step into a deeper awareness, I am making my presence unmistakable. You will feel me in the calm that suddenly settles over you in moments when fear rises. You will sense me in the clarity that arrives when confusion tries to overwhelm you. You will notice me. These small nudges, the unexpected peace, the inner knowing that says, I am here. I am stepping closer, not because I was far, but because I want you to feel what has always been true, that you are not navigating life on your own. You have never been abandoned, overlooked, or left to figure out everything by yourself. I am nearer than your next heartbeat, and I will remains. Let me speak this into the deepest part of your spirit. Not once, not for a second, not for a breath, not for a blink, have you ever slipped out of my attention. You may feel forgotten by people, overlooked in conversations, invisible in crowded rooms, but my gaze has never shifted away from you. I have watched every moment of your life with a tenderness you can barely comprehend. When you were young and uncertain, is I you. When you were broken and pretending to be strong, is I you. When you were celebrating victories that others didn't notice, is I you. When you felt invisible in your pain, unseen in your effort, and unacknowledged in your love, is I every bit of it. And not only did I see it, I valued it. You think sometimes that your quiet endurance doesn't matter. You think your everyday battles go unnoticed. You think your small acts of kindness get lost in the noise of the world. But Ellie, you with authority, nothing above. You two escapes my attention. I have seen the way you keep going, even when you're tired. I have seen the way you love even after being hurt. I have seen the way you try again and again to rise when life knocks you down. And every moment, every struggle, every triumph, every tear, and every prayer has been held in my view with compassion, with pride, and with affection. You are not a background character in your own story. You are not a forgotten soul in a crowded world. You are my beloved, the one I watch over with intentionality, precision, and care. I do not miss anything that touches your life, and I never will kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Hear me with undivided attention. I am breaking the silence around your life because you asked me quietly, desperately, secretly for a sign, and I refuse to let your request linger unanswered any longer. You thought your plea was small, almost insignificant, as if whispering it made it less valid. But it thundered through heaven. You said, Lord, if you are really with me, if you really seem, if you haven't forgotten what you promised, give me something, anything to hold on to. And though you said it softly, though you said it with the hope of a child and the caution of someone who has been disappointed before, I heard it with clarity. I watched the way you hesitated to even form the words, afraid they were too vulnerable, too revealing, too precious to be spoken out loud. But I delighted in them, because that whisper was the most honest prayer you have prayed in a long time. It came not from rehearsed faith, but from raw longing, the kind that draws me closer than any eloquent speech ever could. I am breaking the silence, not because I was absent, but because now you are ready to perceive what I have been doing all along. You needed a sign not because you lack faith, but because the battle has been long. The nights have been heavy, and you have been carrying burdens that most people don't even know you hold. You asked for reassurance, not because you doubt my power, but because you long for my presence in a way that tells you you're not navigating the unknown alone. And so is speak. Not in riddles, not in shadows, not in distant impressions, but directly, personally, and intimately, so that you cannot Mistake my voice for coincidence or imagination. This moment is your sign. These words are your sign. The stirring in your spirit is your sign. The clarity forming inside you is your sign. I am not silent. I am not distant. I am not indifferent. I am speaking now in a way you cannot ignore because the time has come for you to rise from uncertainty and step into assurance. You don't have to wait for the skis to split or for miracles to shout your name. I am meeting you in this moment, right here, right now, because your heart reached out in longing, and I respond to longing quickly, compassionately, and powerfully. Let me say this with all the tenderness your exhausted heart needs. I have seen the weight you have carried alone, even when you convinced yourself that you were strong enough to manage it without help. You have become so accustomed to holding everything together that you forget you were never meant to bear such heaviness by yourself. You have worn responsibility like armor, exhaustion like a second skin, and silence like a survival strategy. You have carried financial worries, family burdens, emotional wounds, unspoken grief, memories that tighten your chest, fears you don't name out loud, and expectations that press on you from all sides. Peep less your resilience, your kindness, your perseverance, but is the weight behind your smile, the strength behind your strength, and the moments when you breathe deeply just to steady yourself before stepping out into another demanding day. You may think noon notices the invisible battles, but I have witnessed every one of them with a compassion deeper than the oceans. I watched you stay awake when your mind raced too loudly to rest. Is all you pushed through responsibilities even when your heart was weary? Is all the way you kept loving, giving, serving, and caring even when you felt stretched thin and emotionally fragile? Is all the days you wanted to fall apart but held yourself together because you didn't want to burden anyone? And is all the exact moments when you felt the urge to collapse inward, too overwhelmed to speak, too tired to cry, too drained to even ask for help? None of this escaped me. And because I have seen the weight you carry, I now move to lift it. Not partially, not symbolically, but truly. I do not want you living another day believing you must be the one to hold everything up. The strength you have said to survive has served its purpose. Now let my strength take the place of your struggle. Let me step into the pressures you don't know how to release. Let me untangle the knots that have tightened around your soul. Let me be the one who carries what you have carried alone for far too long. Listen carefully. The idea that you are forgotten is one of the greatest lies spoken against your life, and I am dismantling it right now. You have never not once been forgotten by me. I have not overlooked your prayers, your hopes, your needs, your efforts, your sacrifices. Oh, Ryer Payne, you have gone through seasons where answers seemed delayed, where doors seemed closed, where the world moved around you while your life felt paused. In those moments you wondered quietly, painfully, has God moved on from me? Has He chosen others but not me? Has He forgotten the promises He made? But child, I am incapable of forgetting you. My memory does not falter, my attention does not drift, my affection does not fade with time or circumstance. You interpret waiting as abandonment, but waiting has never meant absence. You interpret silence as rejection, but silence has never meant disinterest. You interpret delays as neglect, but delays are often protection, positioning, and preparation. Even when I felt far away, I was closer to you than anyone knew. I watched over your steps, guarded your heart from unseen harm, redirected your path away from things that would have broken you, and kept your spirit alive when discouragement wanted to crush it. I have been faithful to you in ways you still do not fully see. You are remembered, you are held, you are known, you are carried. I have engraved your life upon my heart in a way that cannot be erased, overlooked, or replaced. You are not lost in the crowd. You are not drowned out by the prayers of others. You are not one among many. You are mine intentionally, personally, eternally. And because you are not forgotten, what is meant for you will not pass you by. What I have spoken over your life still stands. The story I have written for you is still unfolding. and I will continue speaking, guiding, and moving in your life because my remembrance of you is perfect, constant, and unbreakable. Hear me with the gravity this moment deserves. The season you have been calling waiting 4 years has reached its turning point. Nothing about your life will remain the same after this shift begins. You have waited with hope that felt thin at times. You waited with patience that was often misunderstood. You waited with a quiet endurance that few people ever saw or appreciated. You waited even when you were tired of waiting. You waited when you weren't sure what exactly you were waiting for. You waited through disappointments, delays, detours, and moments that made you question whether the promises spoken over your life were still alive. You waited while others moved forward. You waited while doors opened for people you love and for people who barely tried. You waited while your own prayers seemed suspended in midair. And often in the silence of your soul you wondered if you had somehow done something wrong to cause the delay, or if perhaps what you were hoping for was never meant for you at all. But listen to me, I am the one who matures seasons. And I tell you with absolute clarity, you are stepping out of waiting and into unfolding. Not because you forced it, not because you earned it, not because circumstances suddenly lined up, but because the timing as set before you were born has now aligned with the longing I planted in you. There are seasons you had to live through before you could handle what is coming next. There were parts of your character it needed to strengthen wounds, it needed to heal foundations, it needed to deepen and distractions, it needed to remove waiting felt like stillness, but it was actually transformation. You were being shaped for what you prayed for. You were being stretched for what you dreamed about. You were being rooted so that when the blessing comes, you won't be shaken by it. And now, as a shift to your season, you will begin to notice the subtle signs. First, internal clarity where confusion once lived. Then, unexpected strength rising where fatigue once lingered. You will feel a sense of forward motion in areas that felt frozen. You will feel yourself stepping into answers you didn't know were being prepared behind the scenes. You will realize that what felt like delay was actually divine synchronization. This turning point is not a single event, it is a divine unfolding, a sequenzo, revelations and opportunities I have set in motion for you. You have waited faithfully, even imperfectly, and now you will see that not a single moment of that waiting was wasted. Let me speak into the place where fear has clouded your vision. I am giving you clarity sharper than your fears, clearer than your doubts, stronger than your anxieties, and deeper than the confusion that has followed you for so long. You have been walking through a fog, an emotional, mental, and spiritual fog that made it hard for you to discern what was truly from me and what was merely the echo of old wounds or past disappointments. You have been trying to make decisions while wrestling with uncertainties that never seem to settle. You have questioned your intuition, questioned your worth, questioned your direction, questioned your timing, and sometimes questioned whether you were capable of hearing me at all. You have been afraid of choosing wrong, afraid of misreading signs, afraid of repeating old mistakes, afraid of investing in something that might fall apart again. And because of that fear, you have hesitated, second-guessed, overthought, paused, held back, delayed, and sometimes even talked yourself out of blessings that were meant to lift you. But now I come to clear the fog. I come to silence the noise. I come to separate my voice from every misleading whisper that has exhausted your spirit. I am sharpening your discernment so you can see beyond the surface, so you can recognize truth, avoid deception, perceive opportunities, and walk in confidence. This clarity will not be fragile. It will not vanish at the first sign of resistance. It will settle in you like still water, giving you a sense of direction that feels unmistakably right. You will know when to move, because your spirit will be at peace, not confused. You will know when to wait, because the restlessness inside you will quiet instead of intensify. You will know when something is for you because your heart will align with it instead of shrinking in hesitation. Fear has been an uninvited advisor in your life, but it will not lead you anymore. Doubt is and loud, but am turning the volume of my voice higher. You ask me for direction. I am giving you that and more. I am giving you vision. I am giving you clarity. I am giving you the ability to see what you once overlooked and understand what once overwhelmed you. You will not walk into the next season blind. You will walk in with confidence grounded not in yourself, but in the clarity I am pouring into your life even now. Let me interrupt the voice that have tormented your mind. Every lie the enemy whispered, every false belief you unknowingly embraced, and every thought that tried to convince you that you were unworthy, unlovable, unseen, or incapable, I am tearing them down one by one. You have been living with internal narratives that didn't come from me. Some of them were planted years ago through hurtful words spoken over you. Some came from betrayal, loss, or heartbreak. Some came from expectations you failed to meet or criticism you internalized. Some came from the quiet shame that settled in after mistakes you never fully forgave yourself for. These lies have shaped how you see yourself, how you move, how you love, and how you hope. They have stolen confidence from you. They have distorted your self-worth. They have limited your decisions. They have placed ceilings over your dreams and shadows over your joy. You have heard these lies so often that they sound familiar, almost like truth. But hear me now, familiarity does not equal truth. Repetition does not equal reality. Just because you have carried these lies for years does not mean they belong to you. They were assignments against you, not identities for you. And I am interrupting them with authority. The lie that says you are not enough, I silence it. The lie that says your life is behind, I rebuke it. The lie that says your best days are gone, I shatter it. The lie that says you missed your moment, I erase it. The lie that says you are too damaged, too flawed, too misunderstood, those are chains I break off your spirit right now. Aaron never meant to live under the weight of these falsehoods. You were meant to walk in truth, truth that frees, truth that heals, truth that aligns you with who you truly are. My voice is the voice of truth, and when I speak, every lie trembles. When I speak, every false belief loses its power. When I speak, chains fall. And I speak now because I refuse to let lies define you any longer. You will know the difference between my voice, your fears, and the enemy's whispers. I am teaching you to recognize truth instinctively so you no longer mistake deceit for direction. I am reclaiming your mind, renewing your thoughts, and restoring your identity. Feel this with the force of my voice. I am declaring movement over the places in your life that have felt frozen, delayed, tangled, and immovable for far too long. You have stood in seasons where nothing seemed to shift. No matter how much you prayed, tried, hoped, or pushed, it felt like you were trapped in the same emotional, spiritual, relational, or financial position. You looked at certain areas of your life and wondered, why isn't anything changing? Why does this door stay shut? Why does this pattern repeat? Why do I keep ending up back at the same place? And part of you began to believe that stuck was your permanent state, that stagnation was your fate, and that perhaps you were meant to live life circling the same mountains without breakthrough. But stagnation is not your destiny. Delay is not your identity. Stillness is not the end of your story. You are not trapped. You are not forgotten. You are not powerless. You are simply standing at the brink of a shift you cannot yet see. Movement is coming, not the kind created by your striving, but the kind produced by my intervention. I am stirring the waters beneath the surface of your life, awakening things that have lain dormant and loosening the grip of what tried to hold you back. Where you once felt resistance, you will feel release. Where you once felt the divineness, you will feel momentum. Where you once felt blocked, you will see a way opening. You have to understand this. Not all stillness is punishment. Some stillness is preparation. Some stillness is protection. Some stillness is the gathering of strength before acceleration. And now that the preparation has done its work, is peak motion into your steps. fluidity into your process, clarity into our decisions, and breakthrough into the areas that have long been locked. You will feel change first inside you. Your courage rising, your hope returning, your vision sharpening, your faith strengthening. And then the external will begin to align with the internal. Opportunities will present themselves. Conversations will shift. Relationships will find their rightful place. Ideas will spark. Doors will move. What once resisted, you will begin to cooperate. You will sense the wind changing direction, not because of luck, but because my hand is pushing you forward. Listen closely. The door you have pushed against, prayed about, cried over, and questioned for so long, that felt sealed shut, I am opening it with a single touch. There are doors in your life that were never locked because of who you are, but because of timing, protection, or preparation. You grew frustrated when they didn't move. You wondered if you lacked faith. You wondered if you misunderstood my direction. You wondered if the dream behind the door was never meant for you. But the door refused to budge, not because you were unqualified, but because the moment was not yet ready. What was behind the door needed time to mature. You needed time to grow. Circumstances needed time to align. And while you saw that closed door as a denial, I always saw it as a promise waiting for its appointed hour. If you're ready for this door to open, speak the word yes. Now aloud or in the quiet of your heart, and take one small step toward what you've been longing for. Now that the internal work is being completed in you, now that your spirit is awakening, now that your clarity is rising, now that your courage is forming, I am releasing my hand upon the doorway that once resisted, and it will open not gradually, not reluctantly, but with divine ease. What you tried to force before, what you knocked on until your knuckles bruised, what you tried to maneuver by your own strength, will now open by my authority alone. You won't have to push this time, you won't have to beg. You won't have to strategize. You won't have to exhaust yourself convincing the door to open. It will open because I have declared it ready, and when it opens, it will not lead you into confusion. It will lead you into alignment. You will step into opportunities you once thought were beyond your reach. You will walk into spaces where your gifts are welcomed, recognized, and needed. You will find clarity in the very place where everything once seemed complicated. You will see answers where you once saw impossibility. And you will understand that had the door opened earlier, it would not have carried the blessing, the timing, or the purpose it holds now. This is not a door of chance, it is a door of destiny. Hear me in the deepest part of your being. The cycles that have tormented you, the patterns you couldn't escape, the emotions that looped endlessly, the battles that repeated year after year, I am breaking them with finality. You have lived with cycles that felt stronger than your willpower, patterns tied to your past, repeated disappointments, familiar heartbreak, recurring fears, the same anxiety appearing in different forms, the same relational wounds resurfacing, the same internal battles rising again just when you thought you were free. And because these cycles were persistent, you began to believe they were permanent. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. You began to assume, this is just who I am. This is just how my life goes. This is all I'll ever know. But listen to me. The cycles were never your identity. They were never your destiny. They were never your inheritance. They were simply battles that required my intervention, not your strength. You fought these cycles with everything you had. You tried discipline, prayer, distraction, emotional shutting down, trying to stay busy, trying to stay hopeful, trying to pretend the patterns didn't bother you. But the cycle continued, not because you were weak, but because these battles were spiritual, rooted deeper than your emotions could reach, deeper than your logic could solve. And I honor the years you spent trying. I honor the nights you cried. I honor the moments you rose again even after falling back into patterns that disappointed you. I honor the resilience you didn't even know you were demonstrating. But now I step into the cycle. I step into the generational patterns that shaped you, and I declare them broken. I step into the emotional patterns that felt uncontrollable, and I dismantle their power. I step into the fears that loop through your mind, and I silence them. I step into the insecurities that kept resurfacing, and I uproot them. I step into the habits that held you hostage, and I break them from the inside out. This is not temporary relief. This is permanent transformation. You will not repeat what once ruled you. You will not return to what once bound you. You will not relive what once drained you. I am breaking the cycles so thoroughly that when you look back, you will barely recognize the person you used to be. Listen to me with the tenderness your heart has long needed. Every tear you have cried in secret, every tear you hid behind a quiet smile, every tear that fell in moments when you felt too overwhelmed to speak. I have collected every single one you have lived through. Oh, experiences that shook you in ways words could not fully express. You swallowed emotions to appear strong, held yourself together because others depended on you, and let your tears fall only when the world was asleep and noon was watching. You convinced yourself that your tears were small, insignificant, or even embarrassing. But Herm, I have captured them, honored them, remembered them, and woven them into the healing I'm now bringing into your life. Your tears were not wasted droplets. They were seeds planted in the soil of your transformation. There were nights when tears were your only form of prayer. Your heart was too tired to form words, your mind too heavy to articulate feelings, your soul too weary to know what to say. Yet your tears spoke louder than any sentence could have. They told me your pain, they told me your longing, they told me your disappointment, your fear, your hope, and your desire to believe again. Is that with you in those moments, not hovering above you, but beside you, closer than you realized? I watched the way your breath trembled, the way you pressed your hand against your chest. Hue, you closed your eyes trying to silence the ache inside, and every tear that fell carried meaning, carried a story, carried truth. You didn't know how to express as it would all. I cared about it all. You do not break unseen, you do not shatter unheard, and now it ache those tears, the ones you cried over heartbreak, over loneliness, over confusion, over uncertainty, over loss, over longing, and I use them as the very substance of your healing. The tears you thought were signs of weakness are actually evidence of your strength. They show hate you continued to feel, continued to love, and continued to hope, even when life tried to harden you. And because I have collected them, none of them were, and they are part of the restoration I am unfolding in you even now. Hear me with expectation. The waiting that has stretched your heart, tested your faith, and pushed your endurance to its limits is being transformed into breakthrough in this very season. I know you questioned the timeline. I know you counted the days, the months, the years. I know you tried to stay patient but felt moments of frustration tugging at your spirit. Waiting became a battle you never asked for. You woke up wondering if anything would ever change. You fell asleep, whispering prayers into the darkness, hoping they hadn't been forgotten. But I was using the waiting as preparation, strengthening muscles inside you that could not have developed in rush hours. Waiting did not weaken you, it refined you. You thought the delay was denial, but it was divine alignment. You thought the silence was abandonment, but it was shaping. You thought the slowness was punishment, but it was protection. Had the breakthrough come earlier, it would not have carried the depth, the clarity, or the strength necessary for the season ahead. Now the appointed time has arrived, not because everything finally lined up, but because Isaiah is Tim. Breakthrough is not what you earn. Breakthrough is what I release. It comes not through striving, but through surrender, not through pressure, but through my promise. And as I turn your waiting into breakthrough, it won't arrive in a small, timid way. The shift will be noticeable. The change will be undeniable. The results will be visible. You will feel energy returning to places in you that were exhausted. You will feel your hope renewing. You will find opportunities appearing in unexpected ways. You will see doors opening without struggle. You will watch burdens you carried for years fall off your shoulders. What once seemed impossible will begin to unfold with ease. What seemed distant will come closer. Breakthrough is the moment waiting transforms into testimony, and that is exactly what I am doing for you now. Let me reveal this truth that will lift the weight off your shoulders while you felt like nothing was happening. I was working in places you could not see, arranging details you were unaware of, preparing moments you didn't know were coming. You judged my movement based on what you could observe. And because the surface looked still, you assumed I was silent. But much of my work is done beneath the surface, where roots take hold, where foundations form, where alignment quietly occurs. You prayed and saw nothing. You hoped and saw nothing. You waited and saw nothing. But the unseen is where I do my greatest work, like seeds buried in the soil. The first signs of growth are never visible to the human eye. Only when the moment is right do they break through. Behind the scenes of your life, I have been aligning people, timing opportunities, healing clarity, doors, connections, and solutions. I have been strengthening your character, deepening your discernment, and preparing your spirit so that when the shift comes, you are ready, not overwhelmed, not underprepared, not fragile. I protected you from opportunities that would have drained you. I withheld relationships that would have hindered you. I routed you from paths that would have broken you. You saw the directions as delays, but they were divine interventions wrapped in disguise. You often wondered, is anything happening? Is anything changing? Yes, my child, more than you knew. I was arranging what needed to be ready. I was healing what needed to mend. I was clearing what needed to move. I was opening what needed to unfold. And now the unseen work is rising into visibility. What was hidden will be revealed. What was forming will manifest. What was aligning will now come together. You will realize that I was never idle. My hands were always on your future, shaping it with precision, intention, and love. Hearth is with the force of a storm-breaking whisper. The burdens that have tried to crush you, the pressures that have squeezed the air from your chest, the worries that have lived in the corners of your mind for far too long, every one of them will bow to my power. You have carried weights that were never meant to be permanent lodgings in your soul. You have walked with responsibilities that stretched you beyond your limits, fought battles that no one else even knew were happening, and smiled through moments where your heart felt like it was barely holding together. There were days when the heaviness was so intense you wondered how you were still standing, and yet even through trembling knees and tired eyes you pressed forward, not because the burden was light, but because something inside you kept whispering, "Don't stop." You survived pressures that would have broken many others, and even though you often felt weak, you were never abandoned in your struggle. There were moments when fear pressed down on you so hard that it felt like it was sitting on your chest. Moments when doubt wrapped around your thoughts like a chain. Moments when the uncertainty of your future felt the heavier than anything you'd faced before. But let me tell you something you need to let sink into the depths of your spirit. No burden outranks my authority. Now weight is stronger than my hand. No fear can withstand my presence. When I step into the burdens of your life, they do not remain standing. They bow, they lose their grip, they lose their voice, they lose the illusion of power they once had over you. And now I am lifting you into a place where those burdens begin to break apart under my strength. You will notice the heaviness shifting, not because circumstances instantly vanish, but because my presence is resting on you more powerfully than the pressure around you. You will feel courage rising where fear once ruled. You will feel hope returning where death's parents is settled. You will feel clarity forming where confusion once tangled your thoughts. Even burdens that came from long-standing battles, old wounds, old memories, and old patterns will begin to crumble. because they cannot remain intact when touched by my power. You will not live crushed. You will not live suffocating under invisible weight. You will rise because I am lifting you. And everything that once weighed you down will bow before my strength in your life. Listen with all the attention of your spirit. I am restoring your voice, the one, the enemy you tried to silence through shame, fear, distraction, exhaustion, and disappointment, because your voice carries authority you have not fully recognized. There were moments in your life when speaking up felt unsafe, seasons where expressing your heart felt too vulnerable, times when you silenced yourself because you feared being misunderstood, unheard, judged, or rejected. You learned to shrink in conversations where you should have stood tall. You learned to stay quiet in situations where your perspective mattered. You learned to swallow emotions that were meant to be released, and over time, you began to forget the sound of your own strength. You believed the lie that your voice didn't matter, that your words had no impact, that your opinions were not significant. But idly, oh, now your voice carries power. Your voice carries truth. Your voice carries influence that I placed inside you intentionally. The enemy tried to silence you because he knew what you did not know. That when you speak from a place of truth, healing is released. When you speak from clarity, chains break. When you speak from wisdom, darkness loses ground. He targeted your voice because it threatens lies. He pushed shame on you because your voice carries freedom. He pressured you into silence because your words carry light. But I am restoring the boldness, confidence, and authority that were always meant to flow from within you. I am awakening your voice from the place it hid, the place it curled up inside your spirit, waiting for permission to rise again. I restore your voice. You will begin speaking differently, more confidently, more truthfully, more freely. You will find yourself saying things you held in for years. You will express feelings you once suppressed. You will communicate needs you once ignored. You will advocate for yourself without trembling. You will speak life over situations where you once stayed silent. You will speak truth to lies, and you will speak hope into places that once felt barren. Your voice will not tremble in fear anymore. It will tremble with power. Feel the weight of this declaration. Every chain forged by your past, every regret, every mistake, every wound, every memory that tries to hold you captive, I am breaking them with a finality that cannot be undone. Your past has tried to define you for too long. Old versions of yourself have tried to cling to your identity like shadows that refuse to leave at sunset. There were moments when you felt trapped by who you used to be, what you used to do, what you used to believe. You feared your past would disqualify your future. You feared your history would overshadow your destiny. You feared that people who remembered the old version of you would never allow you to become the person you are growing into. And secretly, quietly, you worried that perhaps they were right, that maybe you were too flawed, too complicated, too scarred to rise into anything new. But your past has no legal right to your future. You are not bound to the person you were when you were hurting, confused, afraid, or lost. The chains that formed through trauma, heartbreak, disappointment, shame, or naive decisions were never stronger than my grace. Some chains wrapped around you subtly through repetition. Some wrapped abruptly through pain. Some wrapped quietly through self-doubt. But all of them were temporary because none of them were authorized by me. I am breaking the emotional chains that keep you replaying old memories. I am breaking the mental chains that whisper that you're the same person you once were. I am breaking the spiritual chains that tied you to patterns you have outgrown. This breaking is not symbolic, it is real. You will feel it in the way you think differently, breathe differently, choose different, lie, love differently, and dream differently. What once triggered you will lose its sting. What once defined you will lose its voice. What once held you will lose its power. You are not walking into your future dragging the chains of your past. You are stepping forward unbound, unchained, unburdened, and free in a way you have not felt in years. Hearth is with the certainty of a promise that cannot be shaken. Yes, my plans for you still stand unchanged, unshaken, and untouched by the delays, detours, mistakes, or disappointments you have walked through. You carried an unspoken fear inside you, wondering if you somehow disqualified yourself, if a wrong turn, a hard season, a heartbreak, or a moment of weakness pushed you outside the boundaries of the future you once hoped for. You wondered if you missed your moment, if you misheard my leading, if the opportunities that slipped through your fingers were signs that I had moved on to someone more prepared, more obedient, or more worthy. You wondered if the dreams I placed in your heart expired while you were busy simply trying to survive. But I tell you now with divine clarity, nothing you have faced, nothing you have feared, and nothing you have endured has canceled my plans for your life. Not one thing. You don't have the power to ruin what I authored. You don't carry the authority to undo what I have ordained. Your mistakes cannot outrun my mercy. Your delays cannot outmaneuver my timing. Your doubts cannot overpower my resolve. You see your journey through the lens of moments where you stumbled, moments where you feared, moments where you paused. But I see your life as a continuous masterpiece, one where the parts you wish never happened are being woven into the purpose I wrote for you long before your first breath. The plan I have for you wasn't fragile. It wasn't dependent on your perfection. It wasn't built on the hope that you would never cry, never struggle, never question, and never bray. My plan accounts for your humanity, and my love carries the strength that fills every gap. So Harmony, my plans for you still breathe. They still rise, they still call your name. They still wait for you, and as you walk forward, you will see how even the parts of your story you once resented are becoming stepping stones toward what I have always intended. Nothing about your future has been lost, only redirected, reshaped, and refined. You are still on the path, you are still in the story, and what is poke over your life is still unfolding right on time. Let me move in to the places within you that you have guarded the most. I am healing the wounds you have hidden from the world, the ones you have covered with strength, the ones you disguise with self-reliance, the ones you ignored because you didn't know how to face them. You have been carrying wounds that were never meant to become permanent companions. Some came from people you trusted, some came from seasons that broke you, some came from choices you regret, some came from silence when you needed support. Some came from words that cut you so deeply you still heard their echo. You learned to function with these wounds, to smile through them, to carry responsibilities while bleeding internally, to comfort others while you were eating yourself. But even though you hid them from the world, you never hid them from me. I have watched the way those wounds shape the way you think, the way you love, the way you protect yourself, the way you make decisions, and the way you breathe through painful memories. You believed healing meant pretending it didn't hurt anymore. But true healing begins when you allow me to touch the places you have kept, guarded, and I don't enter those places to judge you. I enter to restore you. I don't force myself into your pain. I cradle it with compassion deeper than you have ever known. I do not ask you to relive the trauma. I ask you to release the weight of it, because you were not designed to carry it forever. This healing I'm bringing is not shallow or temporary. It reaches beyond the surface. It enters the layers of your emotions, the deep cracks in your memories, and the fractured beliefs you formed in moments of fear or heartbreak. I am healing the wound of abandonment that made you fear closeness. I am healing the wound of betrayal that made you cautious of love. I am healing the wound of failure that made you doubt your purpose. I am healing the wound of disappointment that made hope feel dangerous. And as I heal you, you will feel parts of yourself waking up. Parts that have been numb, parts that have been quiet, parts that have been waiting for restoration forever. Forever. You will walk whole. Listen to me with fresh hope. I am breathing life into the dreams you thought were dead, buried, forgotten, or out of reach, and they will rise again with a strength you did not expect. There were dreams you once carried with excitement, dreams that lit up your imagination, dreams that felt possible, even destined. But life happened. Disappointments happened. Responsibilities piled up. Delays stretched longer than you anticipated. And slowly, almost quietly, you began letting go of desires you once believed were from me. You told yourself maybe this dream was just youthful ambition. Maybe image heard. Maybe I'm too late. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Maybe life moved on without me. You buried dreams not because you wanted to, but because holding on to them began to feel painful. Hope felt vulnerable. Expectation felt risky. Believing again felt dangerous. But Herm, with courage, what I planted in you did not die. It only went dormant. Dreams that come from me carry resurrection power. They cannot remain lifeless when I speak, and right now, I am speaking life into the desires that once made your heart burn with purpose. You will feel the spark returning, the ideas resurfacing, the passion reawakening, the vision sharpening, and the hope rising. Opportunities connected to those dreams will begin to appear in ways you didn't expect. Conversations will open, connections will form. Skills you thought you lost will emerge as stronger. Strength and wisdom will return. And the dream will not rise in the same form. It will rise better, stronger, and more aligned with who you are now. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. What you dreamed before was only a shadow of what I am resurrecting now. The vision will come back to life, not as a faint echo view, past but as a powerful promise for your future. And when it rises, you will understand why it had to go through silence, why it had to sleep, why you had to grow, and where the timing had to shift. My breath is entering your dreams again, and what I breathe into lives. Listen closely. I am placing my hand over the very fears that have followed you like shadows. Fears that whispered at night, fears that disrupted your peace, fears that shaped your choices, and I am silencing them with a finality your heart has longed for. You have lived with fear in ways that few people truly understand. It wasn't always dramatic. Sometimes it was quiet, subtle, lingering in the background of your thoughts. It was the fear of not being enough, the fear of failing again, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of loving and losing, the fear of making the wrong decision, the fear of repeating the past, the fear of being alone, the fear of being judged. These fears became familiar voices, weaving themselves into moments that should have been peaceful, turning simple decisions into internal battles. And because they were constant, you began to mistake them as part of your personality, as if fear was simply who you are. But fear is not your identity. Fear is not your inheritance. Fear is not your companion. Fear is not your truth. Fear is merely a voice that grew loud in the places where you were not taught how to listen to mine. And today I step into the very center of that fear, not to scold you for feeling it, not to shame you for carrying it, but to silence it with the authority of the one who knows the beginning and the end of your story. I am not asking you to be fearless by your own strength. I am removing fear by my presence. You will feel the shift first in subtle ways. Moments where the fear that once arose quickly will suddenly feel distant, quiet, powerless. Moments where you realize a decision that once terrified you no longer holds this aim weight. Moments where your chest no longer tightens at the thought of what ifs. Moments where you respond with courage where fear used to reign. Fear has tried to control your life for long enough. It has shaped your relationships, your steps, your dreams, your self-perception. But the power it once held over you breaks the moment my voice becomes louder than its whisper. And I am raising my voice now, not in anger but in love. I silence the fear of failure by reminding you that I guide your steps. I silence the fear of rejection by reminding you that you are unconditionally loved. I silence the fear of loss by holding what you cannot control. I silence the fear of the future by standing already in your tomorrow. You will walk forward differently from here, not timidly but boldly, not anxiously but securely. not in fear but in peace. Harthas with a strength that settles your spirit. Victory has been woven into your story since the beginning. Long before you faced a single battle, long before your fears formed, and long before the hardships tried to rewrite your identity. You have walked through seasons where defeat felt more real than hope. You went through moments where you questioned if you were strong enough to keep going, if you were capable of rising again, if you were built for the journey ahead. You saw setbacks that shook you. You faced battles that drained you. You endured disappointments that made victory feel like a distant dream instead of a destined reality. And because of the length of the struggle, you sometimes wondered if maybe your story would end in survival instead of triumph. But Childa never wrote your story with defeat as the final chapter. Victory was never a possibility, it was part of my design. I knew the challenges, old face, I knew the fears that would whisper. I knew the moments that would break your heart. I knew the storms that would test your endurance. But I also knew the strength I placed in you, the resilience that would rise again and again, the courage that would awaken in the very moments you felt weakest. Every battle you faced was no evidence of defeat. It was preparation for the victory that was already yours. Victory does not always appear in the way you expect. Sometimes it shows up as peace after years of turmoil. Sometimes it shows up as clarity after seasons of confusion. Sometimes it shows up as strength you didn't know you had. Sometimes it shows up as growth in the very places that once felt barren. And sometimes it shows up as the quiet realization that what once controlled you no longer has a voice. Victory isn't always loud, but it's always certain when I am the one who writes your story. And now your eyes will begin to see victory in places where you once saw only defeat. The doors that were closed will open in alignment. The wounds that held you will heal. The battles that once drained you will strengthen you. Victory is unfolding not because you fought perfectly, but because I have declared triumph over your life. You are stepping into a chapter where you will no longer question if victory is possible. You will walk in the truth that it was always promised. Let me draw near to the tangled places in your mind. I am unraveling the confusion that has clouded your path, the fog that has made it difficult to know what to do, where to go, or how to move forward. You have been living with a mental heaviness that made every decision feel like a risk. There were days when clarity came in brief flashes, only to disappear under waves of doubt and overthinking. You wrestled with questions that circled endlessly, questions about purpose, timing, direction, identity, relationships, opportunities, and next steps. You tried to reason your way through it. You tried to force clarity through logic. You tried to silence confusion through willpower. But confusion is not something you defeat by thinking harder. It is something I dissolve by bringing truth into the places where your mind has been overwhelmed. Confusion has stolen your peace for too long. It has complicated simple decisions. It has made you second-guess every instinct. It has caused you to feel stuck even when apart. Unity surrounded you. It has created internal tension that you didn't know how to articulate. But confusion is not a sign that you are lost. Confusion is a sign that you're on the edge of revelation, and I am stepping into that confusion now, not to criticize your uncertainty, but to replace it with wisdom so clear, so deep, and so steady that you will feel as though light is illuminating every step ahead. As I unravel the confusion, you will feel your mind beginning to settle. Thoughts that once tangled will begin to straighten. Questions that once overwhelmed you will begin to sort themselves in my presence, and decisions that once terrified you will suddenly make sense. You will notice that peace, not pressure, becomes the guide for your next step. You will not move in desperation but in confidence. You will not walk blindly, but with assurance. I am replacing confusion with discernment, replacing uncertainty with direction, replacing fear with inner knowing. You are entering a season where clarity will follow you like a lamp in the night, steady, warm, and unshakable. And as this clarity deepens, I will realize that I was never withholding direction from you. I was preparing your heart to receive direction you could actually build your life upon. Hermes, and move into the very center of your storm. I am releasing peace into the areas of your life where chaos has been shouting the loudest, where confusion has tried to settle, and where turmoil has worn you thin. You have endured seasons where your mind felt like a battlefield, thoughts clashing, worries rising, emotions swirling without rest. There were days when you carried an invisible heaviness, tension you couldn't quite name, an inner unease that refused to quiet down. You tried to distract yourself, you tried to push through, you tried to stay productive, hoping the turmoil would fade if you kept moving. But chaos is not defeated by busyness. Turmoil is not silenced by avoidance. The noise inside you needed more than time, it needed my presence. And I am stepping into that very noise right now. The areas where turmoil has lived longest, your relationships, your finances, your identity, your future, your purpose, your wounds, your unanswered prayers. I am touching those places gently yet powerfully. You have been holding tension in your spirit, bracing yourself for the worst, expecting disappointment, anticipating heartbreak. But child, you were never meant to live in fight or flight mode. You were never designed to wake up with a tight chest, to fall asleep with a racing mind, to carry chaos in your soul. As if it were normal. My peace is not the fragile piece of circumstances aligning. My peace is not temporary relief. My peace does not depend on everything going right. My peace is strength wrapped in stillness, assurance wrapped in calm, authority wrapped in rest. I am releasing this peace into you now, not trickling, not partially, but fully. It will begin like a soft wind brushing against your heart, settling the noise, loosening the tension, unclenches what life has tightened. You will feel it in your breath first, the way you inhale more freely, the way your chest relaxes, the way your thoughts begin to slow. Then you will feel it in your decisions, your reactions, your conversations. Chaos will not have the same control it unseated. The triggers that once overwhelmed you will lose their grip. The situations that once disturbed your peace will no longer shake your foundation. I am giving you peace that stands firm even when circumstances shift. And this peace I give you is not just for comfort. It is for clarity. It is for strength. It is for alignment. When peace enters, your vision clears. When peace settles, your purposes sharpens. When peace reigns, you can hear me with greater ease. The chaos that once surrounded you will not define your future. Hear me with airiness in your spirit. You have asked me again and again, when will things change? When will things shift? When will things finally break open? And my answer to you now is simple, powerful, and undeniable. Beginning now. You have walked through seasons where change felt distant, almost unreachable. You prayed with sincerity but saw no movement. You hoped with patience but felt no progress. You looked at your life and wondered if transformation was possible, or if you were destined to repeat the same cycles, face the same disappointments, and carry the same burdens. You have whispered in the quiet spaces of your soul, Lord, when will things be different? And at times, these silence made you think nothing was happening at all. But you didn't know that I was preparing the ground beneath the surface of your life, aligning details, strengthening you in the unseen, and shaping you into someone who can handle the blessings you once thought you were unqualified for. Change is not born from a single moment. It is born from the culmination of every lesson, every tear, every prayer, every correction, every delay, and every act of endurance. And now the moment has come when all those unseen pieces begin forming into something visible. Beginning now, you will notice subtle shifts, your thoughts becoming clearer, your heart feeling lighter, your spirit waking up with renewed expectation. Beginning now, opportunities will start to align where doors once stayed closed. Beginning now, relationships will shift, some strengthening, some releasing, some entering your life with purpose. Beginning now, strength will return to parts of youth that felt drained for years. Beginning now, you will see movement in areas where you once saw nothing but stagnation. This now is not built one motion, it is built in divine timing. Do not underestimate small beginnings. Do not dismiss quiet changes. The shift has started, and it will unfold steadily, beautifully, and powerfully. You will look back and realize that the moment you received these words was the very moment everything began to change. Let me enter the weary places within you. I am breathing strength into the corners of your soul where you grew tired of hoping, tired of waiting, tired of believing, tired of trying to stay strong while your heart was quietly breaking. There, areas in your life that have drained you not because you lacked faith, but because you invested so much of your heart for so long with little visible return. You hoped and hoped until your hope felt thin. You prayed until the words felt repetitive. You believed until doubt whispered louder. And somewhere along the way, without realizing it, your strength faded. Not suddenly, but gradually, like a candle burning itself to the wick. You felt it, haven't you? The heaviness when you try to hope again. The hesitation when you feel a spark of excitement. The weariness in your bones when you think of trying again. The fear of disappointment creeping into your decisions. You have told yourself, I should be stronger than this. But strength is not measured by how long you can ignore the H. Strength is measured by how honestly you allow me to step into the H, and I am stepping into it now. I am breathing strength where you feel depleted. Strength that lifts your spirit, strength that restores your hope, strength that steadies your heart, strength that clears your mind, strength that reunites your dreams. This is not motivation. This is renewal. This is not resilience you earn. This is courage impart. You will feel it like a fresh wind blowing through the tired places of your soul. It will bring life back into what felt numb and energy back into what felt drained. Strength is returning to you, not in a fragile way, but in a lasting, stabilizing, soul-deep way. And as it traces, hope will follow, confidence will follow, vision will follow, joy will follow. Where you once felt too tired to believe again, you will find yourself rising with fresh expectation. You are not running one empty anymore. I am filling you. I am restoring you. I am breathing strength into you that will carry you into the next chapter of your story with renewed fire and dew. Unshakable endurance, hear me with the clarity your heart has been waiting for. You are not behind. What you call delay, I call divine repositioning. And I am aligning you with perfect timing. Even now, you have looked at your life through the lens of comparison, through the lens of unmet expectations, through the lens of I should be further by now. And because of this, you have carried a quiet ache, a fear that you somehow missed the window, lost the opportunity, or failed to become who you were meant to be. You have watched others progress while you felt like you were standing still. You saw their breakthroughs and wondered why yours hadn't arrived yet. You questioned your pace. You doubted your trajectory. You wondered if something in you was broken or if something in me had changed. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. But child, hear what I speak over you. My timing is not slow, it is strategic. My steps are not late, they are precise. My guidance is not hesitant, it is intentional. You are not delayed, you are being positioned. You are not behind, you are being prepared. You are not overlooked, you are being aligned with something greater than you imagined. The places where you felt stuck were actually places where I was arranging what you could not see. Preparing relationships, doors, opportunities, growth, strength, and clarity that required more time than you realized. But like construction, what looked like silence was actually shaping. What looked like empty space was actually holy ground being laid beneath your feet. I need you to understand that perfect timing doesn't mean quick timing. It means timing that sustains you, not just blesses you. Timing that protects you, not exposes you. Timing that establishes you, not overwhelms you. You are never behind, not for a single day, not for a single hour, not for a single breath. Your life is unfolding on schedule. Destiny has not passed you. Purpose has not forgotten you. Your story is not out of sync. The path I designed for you is not fragile. It has always accounted for the moments you stumbled, the seasons you slowed down, the times you paused, the battles you fought, and even the tears you cried. And now, as I reposition you, the alignment will be unmistakable. You will find yourself in the right place at the right moment, with the right people, equipped with the right wisdom, prepared with the right strength. Your steps will begin to flow with ease instead of strain. Opportunities will rise to meet you. Doors that once resisted will welcome you. What once felt blocked will suddenly make sense. You were never behind. You are being prepared for a moment that is arriving right on time. Hear me with gentleness and truth. I am taking the broken pieces inside you, the ones you don't show, the ones you don't talk about, the ones you barely admit to yourself. And I am rebuilding you stronger than you ever were before. You have survived things that should have shattered you completely. You endured heartbreak that left cracks in your confidence. You carried wounds that silently shaped the way you viewed yourself, others, and even me. There were moments that splintered your trust, seasons that fractured your hope, and experiences that chipped away at your belief in a better future. Trauma left its mark. Disappointment left its shadow. Betrayal left its sting. And though you continued forward, pieces of your heart remained scattered, fragmented, unhealed, and unresolved. You have tried to heal yourself through distraction, through busyness, through silence, through stuffing down your emotions, telling yourself I'm fine, even when you were barely holding on. You learned how to function while fractured, how to move while limping, how to live with internal pieces that didn't quite fit the way they used to. Now, write one small specific next step you can take today to honor this moment. Then speak it out loud or share it with someone you trust. Let action meet the word. But I never intended for you to stay broken. I never wanted you to survive in fragments. You were created to be whole. And now I'm doing the delicate, intentional, precise work of restoration. Not rushed, not forced, not superficial, but deep soul-level reconstruction. I take each broken piece with reverence, not dismissing it, not judging it, not ignoring it. I rebuild you with wisdom, with compassion, with timing, with patience, with tenderness. I fit pieces back into place, not in the way they were before, but in a way that makes you stronger, wiser, deeper, and more resilient. What was once a scar becomes strength. What was once a wound becomes wisdom. What was once a pain point becomes a source of power. I am not putting you back together the way you were. I am building you into someone more whole, more grounded, more unshakable. You will feel it gradually. The return of peace, the return of openness, the return of softness where hardness once lived, the return of confidence where insecurity once settled. And someday soon, you will look back and realize that the breaking did not end you. It transformed you. And my rebuilding will make you unbreakable in ways you never imagined. Take a slow, deep breath now. As you inhale, receive the word, I am being restored. Say it aloud or whisper it to your spirit. Listen with your spirit awake. I am reminding you of who you truly are, not the version of yourself shaped by rejection, not the version shaped by fear, not the version shaped by stress, pressure, disappointment, or survival. For too long, you have carried identities that were never yours. You adopted labels handed to you by circumstances, by past relationships, by childhood wounds, by society, by mistakes, and by moments of weakness. You believed false stories about yourself. Stories that made you shrink, stories that made you doubt, stories that made you forget the strength and beauty I placed in you from the beginning. Life tried to convince you that you were too much or not enough. Life tried to tell you that you were unworthy, unlovable, unseen, and unimportant. Life tried to shape you into someone smaller, quieter, more afraid, more insecure, more uncertain. You adapted to survive, but in the process, parts of your true identity were buried beneath the expectations and pressures placed upon you. But child, I knew who you were long before life tried to rename you. I knew your courage. I knew your compassion. I knew your intelligence, your resilience, your potential, your destiny. I knew the depth of your heart. I knew the purity of your intentions. I knew the power of your spirit. And now, I am peeling away the false identities that have clung to you for years. I am removing the labels that never belonged to you. I am stripping away the insecurities that masked your confidence. I am dissolving the lies that distorted your self-image. I am calling forth the real you. The you I designed, the you life could not destroy, the you who still exists beneath the layers of survival and pain. You will feel yourself waking up slowly. A return to your voice, your dreams, your joy, your essence. The fog of false identity is lifting. And as you rediscover who you truly are, you will walk differently, speak differently, think differently. You will no longer apologize for existing. You will no longer shrink for the comfort of others. You will no longer doubt your value. You will rise in the truth of who I created you to be, and nothing will be able to convince you otherwise. Pause for a moment and write down one truth about who you really are. Even a single word is enough. Keep it where you can see it today. Again, listen with the fullness of your heart. I am dismantling every lie that has whispered to you, shouted at you, or quietly settled inside you, convincing you that you were unworthy of goodness, of blessing, of joy, of hope, of purpose, of love. These lies did not appear all at once. They crept in slowly over years, shaped by painful experiences, careless words, unmet expectations, internal disappointments, and moments that made you feel small. Some lies came from people who failed to see your worth. Some came from seasons that made you question your value. Some came from comparing yourself to others. Some came from wounds you carried without knowing how to heal them. And some came from the voice of fear pretending to be truth. But I am here to tell you that you are worthy, you are loved, and you are mine. These lies you have been carrying settled deep inside you, not because they were true, but because you were exhausted. You were vulnerable, simply trying to survive the day, and those heavy thoughts seemed believable because they echoed your pain. But I need you to hear me now with absolute clarity. Those lies were never from me. I never called you unworthy. I never labeled you as not enough. I never measured your value by the mistakes you made on your hardest days. I never reduced your beautiful identity to your failures, your past, or your fears. My goodness was never something you had to hustle to earn. It was something I have always longed to pour over you, simply because you are mine. Right now, As I step deeper into the quiet spaces of your heart, I am dismantling every false belief that has made you hesitant to receive good things. You have grown so accustomed to disappointment that you brace yourself for it. You have grown familiar with struggle, so you expect it around every corner. You have grown used to questioning your value, so you hesitate to believe that anything better could actually be true for you. But I am taking those lies apart, piece by piece, until nothing remains of the false stories that once shaped how you see yourself. I am replacing every single lie with truth. Where the lie whispered that you were unworthy, my truth shouts that you are deeply loved. Where the lie said you didn't deserve goodness, truth says goodness is following you. Where the lie said your past defines you, truth says you are being renewed right now. Where the lie said you would always struggle, truth says you are being strengthened. Where the lie said you were overlooked, truth says you are intentionally chosen. As these lies fall away, you will find yourself receiving my goodness, not with fear or suspicion, but with gratitude and a quiet confidence. You will no longer reject what is meant for you. You will no longer sabotage your own blessings because you doubt yourself. You will no longer shrink away from opportunities because you feel undeserving. You will rise into the absolute truth that my goodness is not a prize to be won. It is part of your inheritance. Listen carefully to the story you've been telling yourself about who you are, what you are capable of, and what your life can become. I am rewriting it line by line, chapter by chapter, with a truth that reflects who you actually are, not who pain tried to convince you to be. Speak this aloud now. I receive goodness. I receive truth. Let your voice claim it. You have lived with an inner narrative shaped by experiences that wounded you, by moments that misinformed you. You absorbed messages from hard seasons, misunderstood interactions, losses that broke you, failures that embarrassed you, and fears that weakened your confidence. Over time, these fragments formed a false story inside your mind. A story of limitation, inadequacy, insecurity, and doubt. You told yourself you weren't strong enough, or smart enough, or brave enough. You told yourself you were too damaged, too complicated, or too far behind. You told yourself that your story was less than, because parts of it were painful. But child, hear what I speak over you today. Your story is not defined by the hardest chapters. Your narrative is not anchored in the person you were when life was heavy, when wounds were fresh, and when your heart was fragile. I am writing the script you live by, not by denying what you have endured, but with the revelation of what it created inside you. I write resilience where you once wrote failure. I write strength where you once wrote weakness. I write purpose where you once wrote emptiness. I write worthiness where you once wrote self-doubt. I write victory where you once wrote survival. I write growth where you once wrote regret. I write identity where you once wrote confusion. As I rewrite this narrative, you will feel shifts happening inside you. Thoughts that once felt heavy will begin to lighten. Beliefs that once held you back will dissolve like mist. Patterns that once controlled you will lose their grip. This new narrative will empower you, steady you, and heal you. You will speak differently. You will show up differently. You will dream differently. You will walk with a confidence rooted not in your circumstances, but in truth. Your story is not over, and the version you believe about yourself right now is not the final draft. I am writing your life with hope, strength, clarity, and purpose. And what I write cannot be erased. Let me speak into one of the heaviest burdens you have carried. I am silencing the voice of shame, the one that has followed you for years, clinging to your memories and whispering lies about your identity. The one that made you hide parts of yourself, even from me. Shame is not just a feeling, it is a shadow that attaches itself to moments of regret, mistakes, embarrassing memories, and painful choices. Shame has tried to convince you that you are defined by your lowest moments. It has tried to wrap your identity around your past instead of your potential. It has sat on your shoulders like a weight you thought you had to carry forever. Shame speaks in absolutes, saying things like, "You'll always be this way," or "You'll never rise above that moment." These whispers attacked you when you were weakest. They resurfaced in moments when you wanted to hope again. But shame is not stronger than my voice, and now I silence it. I silence it with truth, with compassion, and with an identity that cannot be shaken. I silence it with grace that covers not just your actions, but the wounds that led to them. You will no longer replay old mistakes. You will no longer define yourself by outdated versions of who you once were. You will no longer brace for judgment in rooms where no one is judging you. You will no longer shrink from blessings because you think you don't deserve them. I am severing shame from your life, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and deeply. As the shame quiets, you will feel lighter. You will breathe easier. You will walk with a new posture. You will speak without apology. You will exist without hiding. For the first time in a long time, you will feel free not just from what happened, but from the false identity shame tried to attach to it. Shame no longer has a voice in your life because I have spoken, and my word is final. Hear me as I speak directly into the deepest places of your self-doubt. I am pouring confidence into you. This is a confidence not built on performance, appearance, comparison, or perfection, but on truth, identity, and the unshakable value I placed in you before the world ever had a chance to wound you. You have lived with insecurities that didn't begin with you. They were planted through experiences, words, losses, and environments that made you question your worth. You carried these insecurities in silence, comparing yourself to others not because you wanted their life, but because you doubted your own. You questioned your abilities, your choices, your voice, your presence. You wondered if you belonged, if you were enough, if you mattered in ways that truly counted. There were moments you shrank back when you should have stepped forward. Moments you quieted yourself when your voice carried the very wisdom the moment needed. You looked at yourself through the lens of inadequacy, forgetting that insecurity is a thief, not the truth. But now I am pouring a new kind of confidence into you. Not the loud, forceful kind that pretends to be strong, but the deep, quiet, unwavering assurance that comes from knowing who you are and who you belong to. This confidence does not need applause to survive. It does not crumble under criticism. It does not measure itself against anyone else. It does not rise and fall with your emotions. It is grounded in identity, an identity anchored in me. I am restoring the confidence that life drained out of you. Confidence to speak without trembling, confidence to walk without shrinking, confidence to dream without doubting, confidence to love without fear, confidence to be fully yourself without apology. You will feel this shift within you. Situations that once intimidated you will no longer shake you. Conversations that once made you anxious will suddenly feel natural. Decisions that once overwhelmed you will become clear. You will begin showing up with a different posture, not arrogance, not pride, but presence. You will feel yourself standing taller, not physically, but internally. And as confidence rises within you, insecurity will no longer direct your thoughts, your choices, your relationships, or your future. Listen to me with an open spirit. I am illuminating the path before you, the one that once looked dark, confusing, uncertain, and overwhelming. You no longer have to walk through life feeling lost or unsure of your next step. You have spent seasons trying to navigate uncertainty with limited visibility. You felt your way through decisions, hoping you were choosing correctly, yet carrying the weight of second-guessing everything. You walked forward, not because you felt confident, but because stopping felt even worse. You prayed for direction, and at times felt as though the sky stayed silent. You asked for signs, but saw only shadows. And slowly a quiet belief crept in that maybe clarity was something reserved for others, while you would have to navigate your journey by trial and error. But I am not a God who leads you by guesswork. I am not a God who sits silently while you wander aimlessly. Even when you didn't see me guiding you, I was there. Even when the path felt unclear, I was aligning your steps. But now I am turning on the light. I am giving you vision where confusion once lived. I am giving you discernment where indecision clouded your choices. I am giving you direction where you once felt stuck. You will begin to sense clarity rising inside you, not from overthinking, but from a quiet inner knowing that feels unmistakably divine. You will know what to release and what to hold. You will know where to go and where not to. You will know who to trust and who to love from a distance. You will know when to move forward and when to wait. This illumination will not flicker or fade. It will grow brighter as you move step by step into alignment with the path I have prepared for you. And as the light grows, you will look back and realize that the darkness you once feared was not danger. It was simply the space between who you were and who you were becoming. Now that the light is rising, the path will no longer intimidate you, it will inspire you. You will walk with confidence, peace, and expectation, knowing that every step is guided. Close your eyes for a moment and picture one next step you can take this week. Name it quietly and commit to it. Hear this with the softness your weary heart needs. I am restoring hope in you. Real hope, living hope, durable hope. The kind of hope that rises even when your circumstances haven't changed yet. There were days when hope felt like a fragile thing inside you. You held it carefully, afraid it might break again. Too many disappointments made hope feel risky. Too many delays made hope feel unrealistic. Too many heartbreaks made hope feel painful. You whispered hope only in private, afraid that speaking it out loud would make the disappointment hurt more if it didn't happen. And little by little, your hope didn't disappear. It simply faded, losing color, losing strength, losing the vibrancy it once carried. But child, hear me. Hope is not something you manufacture. It is something I restore, and I am restoring it now. Hope begins as a spark before it becomes a flame. It begins quietly, like the gentle lift in your chest for no obvious reason, like a sudden thought of maybe it can turn around. Like a soft rising of expectation when you thought you had none left. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I am reviving the places where discouragement settled. I am touching the parts of your heart that went numb. I am breathing life into the dreams you stopped praying about. I am bringing color back into what felt gray. I am restoring anticipation where dread once lived. You will not live with a weary, cautious, half-hearted hope anymore. The hope I give is strong enough to endure reality. It is deep enough to withstand delays. It is powerful enough to outlast disappointment. It does not deny your pain, it transforms it. And as hope returns, your heart will begin to rise again. Your prayers will carry new life. Your decisions will feel lighter. Your expectations will shift from fear to faith. You will begin to believe again, not because everything makes sense, but because I am breathing hope into you that no circumstance can take away. Hear this with the authority that reaches into the deepest parts of your being. I am speaking victory over the very battles you feel unqualified, unequipped, or too weary to fight. Because victory was never about your strength, it has always been about my presence. You have looked at certain struggles in your life and felt overwhelmed, outmatched, or too fragile to confront them. You questioned whether you were strong enough to endure, wise enough to navigate, or courageous enough to overcome. The fight felt bigger than your abilities, heavier than your endurance, more complex than your understanding. And somewhere inside, you began to believe the lie that you were unfit for the very battles destiny placed before you. But hear me. Your qualification does not come from what you have. It comes from who walks with you. The battles that intimidate you do not intimidate me. The challenges that drain you cannot drain me. The mountains that feel immovable to you are dust beneath my feet. You are not fighting alone, not emotionally, not spiritually, not mentally, not in any dimension of your existence. I am fighting in ways you cannot see, pushing back darkness you didn't even know was near, blocking attacks before they reached you, and strengthening you even when you felt like collapsing. Listen to me in the places where your heart feels the emptiest. I am filling the loneliness inside you. Not with noise, not with distraction, not with temporary comfort, but with my presence that reaches deeper than any human companionship ever could. You have felt loneliness even in rooms full of people. You have felt unseen even by those who love you. You have carried an ache that words couldn't fully express, a yearning for connection that remained unmet. Moments where you wished someone truly understood you, your thoughts, your fears, your hopes, your complexity. Loneliness is not just the absence of people. It is the absence of being truly known, and that ache has lived inside you longer than anyone realizes. But hear me, there is no space inside you that is too empty for me to fill. No ache too deep for me to touch. No loneliness too heavy for my presence to dissolve. I am not a distant comfort. I am the nearness your soul has longed for. I am the one who sees the thoughts you don't share, the feelings you can't articulate, the emotions you try to bury. I am the one who understands the parts of you that you've never explained. When I enter your loneliness, I do not enter as a visitor. I enter as the one who has always belonged in that space. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to perform. You don't have to be fine. You can be fully yourself, fully open, fully known. As my presence fills your loneliness, you will feel heaviness lift. Not instantly, but steadily. You will feel the ache loosen its grip. You will sense companionship that transcends physical presence. You will feel comfort that moves through the quiet spaces of your heart, like warmth breaking through cold. You will realize that being alone is not the same as being abandoned. You will understand that even when people fail, I do not. Even when connections shift, I remain constant. And from this fullness, you will begin to attract relationships that match the healed, whole version of you, not the wounded one who once settled for less. Hear me as I strengthen the very places where hesitation has paralyzed you. I am giving you courage, real courage, for the decisions you've been afraid to make. The choices that have felt too heavy, too risky, too uncertain. You have been standing at crossroads, feeling the weight of responsibility and the fear of choosing wrong. You've replayed scenarios in your mind, overanalyzed possibilities, worried about outcomes you can't control, and held yourself back because the unknown felt too overwhelming. You've asked me, what if I choose wrong? What if I fail? What if this is a mistake? And beneath those questions lives the deeper fear. The fear of disappointing me, disappointing others, or disappointing yourself. But hear the truth. You do not walk into decisions alone. Courage is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the presence of my confidence inside you. Courage is not a loud roar. It is a quiet, steady knowing that I am with you, that I am directing your steps, that I am guarding your future. You are not fragile in decision-making. You are supported. You are not guessing. You are being guided. I am giving you courage to say yes where fear told you to hesitate. I am giving you courage to say no where you once felt pressure to please. I am giving you courage to leave what no longer aligns. I am giving you courage to pursue what calls you higher. I am giving you courage to trust yourself again, not because you are perfect, but because I am leading you. You will feel this courage rising like strength in your bones, like clarity in your mind, like peace settling in your chest. Decisions that once overwhelmed you will begin to feel manageable. Choices that once terrified you will feel aligned. Where fear once dictated your steps, courage will now guide you, because I am infusing you with strength beyond your own. Hear me as I step into the very places you try hardest to hide. I am entering the rooms of your weakness, not to expose you, not to shame you, not to judge you, but to show you a strength that does not come from your effort, your discipline, or your willpower, but from my nearness. You have carried weaknesses that made you feel inadequate, flaws that made you feel ashamed, tendencies that made you feel frustrated with yourself. You have tried again and again to be stronger, to push through, to do better, as if strength were something you could manufacture through sheer effort. You covered your weaknesses with humor, silence, busyness, perfectionism, or distance. You convinced people you were fine because you thought weakness made you unworthy. But child, weakness is not a flaw in your design. It is an invitation for my power. You prayed for strength, but often expected me to give it by removing the struggle. Yet true strength is not learned in an easy place. It is built in the very moments that feel too heavy for you. I have watched you fight battles alone because you assumed I only wanted the polished parts of you. I have seen your frustration when you fall back into old patterns. And with compassion deeper than your understanding, I say to you, you were never meant to conquer weakness without me. I do not wait for you to be strong to come near. I come near to make you strong. My strength does not replace your weakness, it fills it. It does not erase your humanity, it empowers it. It does not demand perfection, it builds endurance. And now I am lifting the pressure off your own shoulders. You will not overcome by striving, but by surrender. You will not change by force, but by my presence settling inside you like steady fire. You will feel strength rising in the places where you once felt fragile. You will notice courage forming in the areas where you once felt small, and slowly, steadily, beautifully, you will realize that what once weakened you has become the very place where my power shines the brightest. Listen to me as I breathe into places within you that have gone quiet. I am reviving the passion inside you, the passion you thought was gone forever, the passion you assumed life had drained. There were times when you moved with fire, when your dreams felt alive, when your heart pulsed with purpose, creativity, energy, and excitement. But life happened. Hard seasons dimmed your light. Responsibility stole your time. Disappointments dulled your enthusiasm. Loss made you numb. Fatigue made you careless with your own gifts. Slowly, passion began to fade, not because you didn't care anymore, but because you were tired, wounded, stretched, and trying to hold yourself together day by day. You began to believe passion was something youthful, something lost, something impossible to regain. You told yourself you were too tired, too late, too different now. But hear me, passion is not gone. It is only sleeping. And I am waking it. I am rekindling the fire that once pushed you forward with joy. I am stirring the desires you buried under disappointment. I am awakening the creativity you thought had dried up. I am breathing life into gifts you haven't touched in years. Passion is not just emotion. It is purpose awakening. And your purpose has been waiting for your spirit to rise again. This revival will feel gentle at first, like a quiet stirring, like inspiration returning in small bursts, like new ideas whispering at the edges of your mind. Then it will grow. You will feel excitement you haven't felt in years. You will feel clarity about what matters to you. You will sense energy returning to places within you that felt dead or numb. You will rediscover parts of yourself you thought life had stolen. This renewed passion will not be reckless. It will be anchored, matured, and refined by everything you've walked through. It will be passion with wisdom, passion with direction, passion with purpose. Hear me as I gently place my hand over the heaviness you've been carrying for far too long. I am lifting the weight off your spirit, the emotional gravity that has pulled you down, the sadness that lingered uninvited. I am clothing you with joy that goes deeper than circumstance. You have lived with heaviness in ways you rarely admit. You pushed through days that felt colorless. You smiled while your soul felt tired. You carried burdens that made even simple tasks feel overwhelming. Sometimes the heaviness came from grief, sometimes from stress, sometimes from disappointment, sometimes from loneliness. But however it came, it settled over you like a fog that refused to lift. There were mornings you woke up already tired, nights you fell asleep without peace, moments when laughter felt foreign. But hear me. Heaviness is not your portion, and emotional exhaustion is not your destiny. I am lifting the weight not with a temporary relief, but with a deep internal shift. I am exchanging heaviness for joy. Not shallow joy, not forced joy, not performative joy, but joy that rises from within like warm light breaking through long darkness. This joy will feel like breath returning to your lungs, like color returning to your world, like strength returning to your step. It will not be dependent on everything going right. It will be sustained by me, anchored in my presence, rooted in my peace. You will feel yourself laughing again, not because life is suddenly perfect, but because your spirit is being renewed. You will feel gratitude bubbling up in moments that once felt heavy. You will notice a lightness settling over you, the kind that doesn't deny reality but transcends it. The heaviness that weighed on you is breaking. The fog is lifting, and real joy is clothing you like a garment you never thought you would wear again. Listen with a deep breath of relief. I have been surrounding you with protection in realms you could not see, shielding you from attacks that were forming long before you ever became aware of them. There were things that rose against you, plans, intentions, schemes, influences that never reached you because my hand intercepted them. You've walked through seasons where you felt vulnerable, exposed, or unguarded. But child, you have never taken a single step without my covering going before you. You worried about disasters that never happened. You feared outcomes that never manifested. You braced yourself for heartbreaks that never arrived. What you interpreted as random close calls were actually my interventions, quietly and powerfully dismantling every trap the enemy attempted to build around you. You do not realize how many moments your peace was protected from unseen chaos. How many times your mind was shielded from attacks that would have crushed your confidence. How many times I redirected your path away from people who were not for you. My protection is not passive. It is active, intentional, and strategic. I do not protect you only when you ask. I protect you because I love you. Because I know what approaches before you feel even the faintest tremor of danger. And now I want you to walk with the confidence of someone who is covered. The fear of what if will begin to dissolve because you will understand that nothing forms against you without first coming through me. You will feel safer. Not because life becomes easy, but because you will sense my presence fortifying you. Attacks that once overwhelmed you will lose their power. Words that once wounded you will no longer touch your identity. I am protecting your purpose, your peace, your spirit, your destiny. Even now I am standing guard. Even now I am shielding you. Hear me as I move through the spaces of your relational world. I am aligning the relationships meant to build you, bless you, and strengthen you. And I am removing the ones that have quietly harmed you, drained you, or limited you without your full awareness. You have carried people in your heart longer than they carried you. You have given grace where none was returned. You have held on to connections out of loyalty, familiarity, or the fear of being alone. You excuse behaviors that hurt you because you hoped for change. You adapted to people who should have adapted with you. Some relationships faded not because you did anything wrong, but because growth created distance. Others became painful because you outgrew what they were capable of offering. But hear me clearly, relationships are assignments, and not every assignment is meant to be lifelong. Some come to teach, some come to lift, some come to mirror, some come to stretch, and yes, some come to reveal what needs healing inside you. I am stepping into this space now, not to punish, but to align. I am softening hearts that are meant to stay. I am strengthening connections that serve your growth. I am deepening relationships that carry mutual love, respect, and truth. At the same time, I am gently yet firmly untying you from connections that cannot go where you're going. Some relationships will shift naturally with peace, Others will end abruptly by my protection. Do not cling to what I remove. Do not fear what I rearrange. I see intentions you cannot see. I hear conversations you were not present for. I know the spiritual impact of every person in your life. In the coming days, you will notice clarity rising in your relationships. You will know who is for you, who is safe, who is a blessing, and who is a lesson. As alignment settles, you will feel more peaceful, more supported, more understood, more whole. If a specific relationship just lit up in your mind as not aligned, take one small brave step today. A boundary, a conversation, or a moment of honest prayer about it. Listen to me as I awaken what life tried to bury. I am calling forth your purpose, the purpose that stress suffocated, disappointment overshadowed, and long seasons of survival pushed into the background of your soul. There was a time when purpose felt alive inside you. You dreamed boldly. You envisioned clearly. But then, life came in waves. Responsibilities, heartbreaks, losses, practical demands, emotional exhaustion, and slowly purpose became buried. Not dead, not erased, just buried, covered by layers of fatigue and the constant pressure to just get through the day. Yet even under all that weight, purpose never stopped breathing. It waited. It waited during your heartbreak. It waited during your confusion. It waited during your years of self-doubt. It waited while you rebuilt yourself. And now I am calling it forth, not gently but powerfully. Purpose responds to my voice. Purpose rises when I speak. You will feel this awakening. Ideas will return that you thought were long gone. Desires will resurface that once felt impossible. Strength will rise to match the dreams you thought were too big. You will find yourself drawn to things that align with your calling, not your fear. You will sense a stirring in your spirit that feels both familiar and new, like remembering who you are while discovering who you can still become. This purpose is not random. It is woven into the blueprint of your identity. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be erased. And as purpose rises, confusion will fall away. As purpose rises, fear will loosen its grip. You were not created to merely exist. You were created to impact, to shine, to build, to heal, to inspire, to grow, to live fully. Purpose has been waiting for this moment. Listen carefully as I speak into the very core of who you are. I am awakening strengths inside you that you did not know were there. Strengths that have been sleeping beneath years of pressure, fear, confusion, and survival mode. You often look at yourself through the lens of limitation. What you haven't achieved yet, where you've fallen short, what you wish you could do better. You forget that you are layered, complex, and deeply designed with capacities that do not reveal themselves in comfort. They reveal themselves in challenge, transition, and awakening seasons, like the very one you are in now. There are strengths you've never seen because they weren't needed yet. There are boldnesses you didn't know you carried because you haven't stepped into the spaces that demand them. But child, I placed greatness inside you long before you ever doubted yourself. And now I am calling it forth. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. You will feel this awakening in subtle shifts first. A thought that once intimidated you will no longer send fear racing through your veins. A conversation that once made you shrink will now draw confidence out of you. A challenge that once overwhelmed you will suddenly feel conquerable. You will notice courage forming in the quiet places of your spirit. Strength is not always a loud roar. Sometimes strength is a steady, rising conviction that says, I can do this. I am not the same. I am capable because I am not walking alone. Understand this. I do not awaken strengths randomly. I awaken them purposefully for what your next season requires. Compassion deeper than you've ever felt. Discernment sharper than you've ever known. Resilience stronger than your past battles. Creativity richer than your old fears. Endurance steadier than your past failures. These strengths are not new. They are simply rising to the surface because now is the moment you are ready to carry them. You are about to see yourself through my eyes, capable, equipped, and stronger than you ever imagined. Hear me with the relief your heart has long needed. I am clearing the path before you, not because you are weak, not because you cannot fight, but because you have fought long enough. And this season requires ease, flow, alignment, and open doors instead of constant warfare. You have lived many years feeling as though every inch of progress required exhausting effort. Every decision required deep wrestling. Every step forward came with resistance. You wondered why life felt so heavy for you, why simple things became complicated, why you felt spiritual and emotional pushback even in seasons where you were simply trying to survive. You began to believe that difficulty was your normal, that struggle was your default. But child, hear me. The days of fighting through every step are ending. I am clearing the path, not by removing every challenge forever, but by removing the unnecessary resistance that has drained you, discouraged you, and slowed you down. You will no longer feel like you are pushing against invisible walls. You will no longer feel like progress requires you to pour out more than you have. I am smoothing the road ahead of you. I am dismantling hidden barriers. I am silencing opposition that once rose against you. I am removing distractions that pulled you off course. When I clear the path, you will know it because things that once took months will happen in days. Opportunities that once seemed impossible will open without strain. Conversations you feared will flow effortlessly. Decisions that once overwhelmed you will suddenly feel obvious. You will walk forward and realize that the atmosphere around you has shifted. That favor has replaced resistance, clarity has replaced confusion, peace has replaced chaos, momentum has replaced stagnation. This clearing is my intentional preparation for the future I am leading you into. You have proven your endurance in seasons of hardship. Now you will experience my grace in seasons of ease. Listen as I lift something heavy from your soul. I am removing the weight of condemnation, the heaviness that has made you judge yourself, punish yourself, doubt yourself, and believe that your mistakes define your identity. And I am replacing it with freedom that breathes life into you again. You have carried condemnation in ways you did not even recognize. It showed up in the form of self-criticism that never ended. It appeared in the form of guilt that lingered long after forgiveness was given. It whispered in your ear when you tried to heal. It reminded you of your lowest moments, your worst decisions, your hidden regrets. Condemnation has been a weight on your chest, convincing you that you were disqualified from joy, from peace, from purpose. But hear me now with finality. Condemnation has no legal right to your life. It is not your portion. I do not condemn you. I never have. What you call unworthiness, I call growth. What you call failure, I call formation. What you call regret, I call redirection. You have punished yourself for things I already forgave, already redeemed, already erased from the record of your identity. You've held yourself to a standard of perfection I never demanded. You've been harder on yourself than I ever would be. Now I'm removing the weight. You will feel it like something unclenching inside, like a breath you didn't realize you were holding finally releasing. Freedom is not a feeling. It is a spiritual reality I am placing over your life. You will begin to think differently about your past, not as a prison, but as a teacher. You will stop rehearsing your failures and start recognizing your progress. You will stop fearing judgment and start embracing grace. You will stop disqualifying yourself from blessings because you believe you don't deserve them. Condemnation had its time, but that time is over. Freedom is here. Hear me as I move through the unseen places surrounding your life. I am shifting the atmosphere around you, the emotional, spiritual, and mental atmosphere, so your spirit can finally breathe again without the weight that has pressed against you for far too long. You have lived under invisible heaviness, the kind that doesn't always have a clear source. You felt tension in the air even when nothing looked wrong. You felt pressure on your shoulders even when you tried to rest. There were moments when simply existing felt like labor. But hear me now. I am clearing the air around your life. I am removing the heaviness that settled in places you didn't even realize had grown stagnant. I am cutting through the fog that made your thoughts feel dim. I am shifting the spiritual climate so your mind can rest, your emotions can settle, your heart can breathe, and your spirit can rise. What once felt suffocating will begin to feel spacious. What once felt tense will begin to feel peaceful. What once felt chaotic will begin to feel ordered. You will begin to notice this shift in subtle but undeniable ways. Your sleep will feel deeper, your thoughts clearer, your mood lighter, your reactions calmer. People who once drained you will lose their influence. Environments that once weighed you down will no longer have the same effect. This is not a temporary relief. It is a divine reset. I am creating space within you and around you for clarity to land, for healing to root, for peace to flourish. The atmosphere around you is changing because I am breathing upon it. And as it shifts, so will you. Listen with the gentleness your soul has long avoided but truly needs. I am softening your heart again. The heart that hardened not out of malice, but out of self-protection after being wounded one too many times. You learned to toughen yourself because vulnerability felt unsafe. You learned to withdraw because openness felt risky. You learned to smile while guarded because honesty felt like an invitation for pain. Over time, the softness that once defined you became shielded behind walls you built to survive. And those walls helped you in certain seasons. They kept you from collapsing under heartbreak. They protected you from people who couldn't love you well. But now those same walls are blocking the love, healing, and connection that your spirit is ready for. I do not judge you for hiding. I understand every reason you learned to guard your heart so fiercely. But child, your heart was never meant to be a prison. It was meant to be a garden, and now I am softening it. Not by breaking your defenses, not by forcing you into vulnerability, but by warming the places that have grown cold. I am loosening the tension inside you, healing the memories that made you numb, reminding you that tenderness is not a weakness. Vulnerability is not a liability. Your softness is part of your strength. You will feel this softening in surprising ways. increased compassion, deeper empathy, the return of emotional sensitivity, a renewed ability to feel joy, to love, to hope, to cry in freedom rather than shame. Your heart will not crack, it will open. It will not be wounded again, it will be strengthened. I am cultivating a mature softness that knows how to love wisely, feel deeply, and trust safely. This is healing, not fragility. Hear me with the authority that shakes the foundations of every limitation. I am opening doors for you. Doors that no person, no circumstance, no enemy, no mistake, no insecurity will ever be able to close. You have stood before doors that seemed locked, sealed, unreachable. You tried keys that didn't fit. You knocked until your knuckles ached. You prayed, waited, hoped, and wondered why opportunity seemed always one step out of reach. Some doors were blocked because the timing wasn't right. Others were blocked because you weren't ready. And some were blocked because they would have harmed you. But now I am opening the doors that are yours. Not through pressure, not through force, but through divine alignment. When I open a door, you don't have to push. When I open a door, you don't have to convince anyone of your worth. When I open a door, you don't lose yourself entering it. You will know these doors because they will carry ease, clarity, confirmation, and peace. Opportunities will find you. Favor will rise over you. People will speak your name in rooms you've never entered. Ideas will open pathways you never considered. Provision will appear in unexpected ways. The right connections will align at the right moment. And where you once felt excluded, you will step into spaces built with your name etched into their foundation. Do not fear losing these doors. Do not fear sabotage. Do not fear competition. What I open stays open. The season of closed doors is ending. The season of divinely open doors is beginning, and nothing will be able to stand against what I am now setting before you. Hear me with the authority that breaks barriers. I am removing the limitations you learned to live with. The limits others placed on you, the limits circumstances pressured you into accepting, and the limits you unknowingly placed on yourself out of fear, exhaustion, or past disappointment. You have walked through life carrying invisible ceilings, constraints that were never meant to define you. Over time, these limitations began to feel normal, familiar, even safe. You shaped your dreams around them, shaped your expectations beneath them. But child, you were never created to live within cages, especially not ones built from fear. I am removing those limits one by one. I am breaking ceilings you thought were unbreakable. I am expanding capacities you didn't know you had. I am stretching your vision beyond what you once believed was possible. And I am doing it in a way that doesn't overwhelm you, but frees you. You will feel this expansion in your thoughts first. Your ideas will grow bolder. You will dream bigger without instantly pulling yourself back. You will feel sparks of possibility rising where doubt once lived. You will hear a new internal voice, not the voice of insecurity, but the voice of destiny. As these limitations fall away, you will no longer shrink to fit old versions of yourself. You will step out of patterns that kept you small. You will rise into spaces you once thought were meant for others. And you will realize that the limits you lived under were never part of my design. They were simply chapters in your story, not the title of your life. Now watch as I open your capacity, enlarge your vision, and lead you into a life that reflects who you truly are. Listen closely as I speak into the depths of who you are. I am restoring your sense of identity. The identity life tried to distort. The identity pain tried to reshape. The identity you lost track of while simply trying to survive. You've walked through seasons where everything around you shifted so violently that even the way you saw yourself began to blur. Loss made you feel less. Criticism made you shrink. Rejection made you question your worth. Failure made you doubt your capability. And slowly, without realizing it, you let pieces of your identity slip through your fingers. But child, hear this. Who you are has never been truly lost. It has only been buried beneath the noise of life. And now I am uncovering you. I am lifting false identities off of you. Identities shaped by trauma, fear, insecurity, or pressure. I am silencing labels that others placed on you. I am peeling back the layers that life piled on, revealing your true self. Strong, intentional, loved, chosen, capable, wise, valuable, and deeply significant. You will feel this restoration as a gradual awakening. You will begin to remember parts of yourself you thought were gone. The joy, the curiosity, the compassion, the boldness, the depth, the sensitivity. You will recognize that you were never defined by what happened to you, nor by how people treated you. I have always known who you were, even when you forgot. And now I am giving that knowing back to you. As your identity restores, your posture will change, your voice will grow stronger, and your spirit will rise with a sense of certainty that you haven't felt in years. No more living as a watered-down version of yourself. You are returning to yourself. If you felt a single line that pierced through numbness, share it with one person who needs to hear it today. Let this truth travel through you to someone else. Hear me with anticipation. I am bringing you into a season where blessings will meet you before you ask, where provision will arrive before the need appears, where opportunities will stand at your path before you knock, where answers will come before the questions overwhelm you. You have lived through years where everything required effort, prayer, struggle, patience, and endurance. You've known seasons where you had to fight for clarity, fight for stability, fight for peace. And because you've lived that way for so long, you began to believe that struggle was the only language of breakthrough. But child, I am shifting your experience. You are entering a season of divine acceleration, where things will come with such ease that you may not recognize it at first. This is not because you are lucky or because circumstances randomly changed. It is because I am changing the spiritual pace of your life. Where you once walked, you will run. Where you once begged, you will receive. Where you once waited, you will witness. I am orchestrating blessings that will surprise you. Not because you are worthy, but because I am generous, intentional, and deeply invested in your joy. Blessings will come through people you never expected, doors you couldn't have opened yourself, and moments you didn't predict. Some blessings will be big and breathtaking. Others will be small but perfectly timed. All will carry my fingerprints. You will feel seen. You will feel supported. You will feel carried. This is your time to receive without fear, without hesitation, without shrinking. Blessings are already on their way, and they will meet you at the exact moment you need them. Sometimes even before you realize you do. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Hear me as I reach into the places where your clarity has been clouded. I am restoring your vision, not just what your physical eyes can perceive, but the vision of your spirit, the vision of your purpose, the vision of your future. Life has thrown dust at your eyes. Disappointments that darkened your hope, betrayals that made you cautious, stress that fogged your mind. You stopped dreaming as boldly as you once did. You stopped imagining possibilities that once excited you. You began to doubt the future because the present felt too overwhelming. But hear me clearly. I am restoring your vision. And when I restore it, you will see differently. You will see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You will see purpose where you once saw pressure. You will see beauty where you once saw brokenness. You will see possibility where you once saw impossibility. I am removing the spiritual haze that settled over your eyes. I am wiping away the residue of past seasons that distorted how you viewed yourself and your path. This restored vision will unfold naturally like light breaking through early morning mist. You will wake with new ideas. You will sense direction where confusion once sat. You will feel drawn to things that align with your calling. You will pick up dreams you once abandoned because suddenly they will seem attainable again. You will see yourself not as a wounded survivor, but as a rising, unfolding, unstoppable force shaped by resilience and guided by grace. I am restoring your sight, not only so you can see your future, but so you can finally believe it. Listen as I prepare you for what's coming. I am strengthening your spirit. Not for struggle, not for survival, but for the opportunities that are about to unfold before you with speed and significance. You often think strength is only needed for difficulty. But hear me. Opportunity requires strength too. Blessings require readiness. Expansion requires capacity. Growth requires resilience. I am not merely preparing you to endure, I am preparing you to ascend. You have prayed for opportunities, but you didn't always feel ready for the weight that comes with them. Big doors require a steady soul. And because I knew what was coming, I have been strengthening you quietly, consistently, lovingly, even when you didn't recognize the process. You thought the battles were random, but they were conditioning you. You thought the slow seasons were punishment, but they were preparation. You thought the waiting was delay, but it was reinforcement. Now the strengthening becomes intentional. You will feel courage rising. You will feel focus sharpening. You will feel discipline stirring. You will feel maturity forming in areas that once felt impulsive or emotional. You will notice yourself responding differently, more calmly, more confidently, more wisely. This is not you forcing growth. This is me expanding your spiritual structure so it can hold what I'm placing into your life next. Opportunities are coming that will stretch you, elevate you, and position you in new spaces. And I am strengthening you so you can step into them without fear. You won't sabotage what I'm giving you. You won't hide from what you're called to. Your spirit will be steady, grounded, and fully supported by my presence. Hear me with finality. I am bringing closure to the chapters in your life that have kept you emotionally trapped, mentally stuck, or spiritually anchored to places you were never meant to remain. You have carried unfinished stories inside you, places where you never received closure, moments that ended abruptly, relationships that dissolved without explanation. These open loops held pieces of your heart hostage. But hear me, closure is not something you have to chase. I am giving it to you. I'm closing chapters not to erase what you lived, but to free you from what has lingered too long. Some chapters will close quietly with understanding. Others will close suddenly with my protection. But every closure will carry peace. Not the kind that comes from the situation changing, but from you changing. I am closing the chapter of shame. I am closing the chapter of heartbreak. I am closing the chapter of misunderstanding. I am closing the chapter of betrayal. I am closing the chapter of regret. I am closing the chapter of waiting on someone who could not meet you where you needed. I am closing the chapter of cycles you repeated out of habit, fear, or longing. And as these chapters close, you will feel lighter, not instantly, but undoubtedly. Memories will lose their sting. Triggers will lose their power. The emotional charge behind certain names, places, seasons, and stories will fade. You will be able to look back without collapsing. You will be able to move forward without hesitation. Closure is not forgetting. It is freedom. And I am bringing that freedom into your life now so you can finally step into the next chapter with clarity, peace, and a spirit ready for new beginnings. Listen closely as I place my hand on the deepest, oldest wounds within you. I am healing the parts of you that you quietly accepted as permanent, the parts you stopped believing could ever change, the parts you learned to live with, even though they continued to ache beneath the surface. There are areas of your heart you stopped praying about, not because you didn't care, but because you grew tired of hoping. You convinced yourself that some pain was simply part of your identity. You told yourself, this is just how I am now. You adjusted your life around the wound instead of believing the wound could still be healed. You learned to function while fractured, to smile while hurting, to achieve while bleeding. But hear me now with a tenderness that reaches the very places you've buried. Those parts of you are not beyond my reach. Nothing inside you is too broken for me to mend. No wound is too old. No habit is too deep. No trauma is too complicated. I am healing not just what has recently been wounded, but what has been hurting for years. Layers upon layers of emotional residue that shaped how you think, how you trust, how you love. Healing for you is not surface level. It is transformational. It is slow, gentle, persistent, and deeply personal. You will feel this healing in phases. First relief, then release, then renewal. The memories that once triggered you will lose their sharpness. The narratives you've believed about yourself will begin to shift. The patterns you thought were just who you are will start dissolving. Healing will come through quiet moments, through unexpected conversations, through new wisdom rising in you. You will look back and realize that the very parts of you that once made you feel broken have become the very places where you now feel whole, steady, and grounded. I am healing you, not just enough to function, but enough to flourish. Hear me as I touch the very center of your inner world. I am renewing your mind, not partially, not temporarily, but fully. So that the thoughts that once weighed you down, distracted you, tormented you, or held you captive will lose their grip on your life. Your mind has been a battleground for far too long. You've wrestled with overthinking, intrusive thoughts, internal criticism, fears that looped endlessly. You tried to control your thoughts, silence them, or outrun them, but they kept resurfacing. And over time, you wondered if your mind would ever truly feel peaceful again. But child, hear me gently, yet powerfully. I am renewing your mind from the inside out. Renewal does not happen by forcing your thoughts into silence. Renewal happens when my presence rewires the patterns within you. I am shifting the internal dialogue you've lived with for years. I'm dissolving the beliefs that didn't come from truth. I'm untangling the fears that became your default responses. I'm clearing out the mental clutter. I am teaching your mind to align with peace rather than panic, with truth rather than lies, with clarity rather than confusion. This renewal will not be sudden, but steady. You will find yourself thinking differently without forcing it. Worries that once spiraled will now pause. Doubts that once screamed will now whisper. Fears that once controlled your choices will lose authority. You will recognize mental freedom not because everything around you changes, but because everything within you begins to shift toward truth, stability, and inner peace. Your mind will no longer be a battlefield. It will become a sanctuary. Listen with hope rising again inside you. I am giving you back the time you thought you lost, the years you feel slipped through your fingers, the opportunities you regret missing, the seasons you spent in survival mode instead of growth. You have looked at your past and felt the sting of lost time. You wished you had healed sooner, trusted sooner, chosen differently, started earlier, walked away faster. You mourned years that felt wasted. You held quiet grief for what could have been. But hear me now with power that dissolves regret. Time is not lost in my hands. I redeem time. I restore time. I multiply time. What you call lost years become accelerated years in my timing. What you call wasted seasons become wisdom-filled foundations for where you're about to go. What you call delays become divine setups. What you call missed opportunities become doorways that return stronger, wider, and better aligned than the ones you cried over. You have not fallen behind, not in destiny, not in purpose, not in calling, not in promise. I am giving you back time by accelerating what comes next. You will see progress that outpaces your past. You will experience breakthroughs that make up for years of stagnation. I can do more in 1 year of alignment than you could do in 10 years of striving. I can restore what you thought was gone. I can reopen doors you thought time had sealed shut. I can move you forward so swiftly that regret itself becomes speechless. Nothing is lost in me. What you thought time stole, I am returning as redemption. And when you look back, you will see that nothing was wasted and everything is being restored. Hear me as I draw close to your spirit. I am preparing you for the life you prayed for, the life you whispered about in quiet moments, the life you longed for when no one was watching, the life you sometimes doubted you deserved, yet still secretly hoped I would bring to pass. You have carried dreams inside you that felt too big for your hands, too heavy for your courage. There were times when the very desires of your heart made you feel unworthy, as if wanting more was too much. You questioned yourself. You limited yourself. But hear me with clarity. You are worthy of what you prayed for. Not because you've been perfect, but because I have chosen you, loved you, and shaped you with intention. The life you desire is not random. It was planted inside you by me. The dreams you carry are not fantasies. They are invitations. The longings you feel are echoes of destiny. You prayed, sometimes timidly, sometimes boldly, sometimes tearfully, and every single time I listened, not to your perfection, but to your sincerity. And now I am preparing you not through pressure, but through positioning. I am refining your character, strengthening your endurance, shaping your identity, and expanding your capacity so that when the life you prayed for arrives, you will not be overwhelmed by it, but aligned with it. You will not sabotage it through insecurity. You will not question it through fear. Instead, you will step into it with gratitude, confidence, maturity, and steadiness. Everything you've walked through has been part of this preparation. You are not behind, you are being aligned, and the life you prayed for is not far, it is near. Hear me with the awe this moment deserves. I am positioning you in places you never imagined you would enter. Places that once felt too high, too distant, too unreachable, too extraordinary for someone who has walked through what you've walked through. You have looked at certain rooms and thought, not me, not someone like me, not with my story. You've admired opportunities from a distance, believing they were designed for others. Those more polished, more connected, more confident. You quietly accepted the idea that certain spaces were reserved for people who did not know struggle the way you do. And because of this, you stayed small. You waited at the edges. But child, hear me. I do not position people based on their resume. I position them based on my purpose. You will walk into places you didn't strive your way into. You will be welcomed into rooms you didn't campaign for. You will be granted opportunities you didn't beg for. You will be invited to tables where your voice carries weight, your presence shifts the atmosphere, and your story carries influence that only comes from having lived through battles. Your background does not disqualify you. It equips you. Your wounds do not weaken you, they deepen you. Your journey does not make you less, it makes you essential. I am placing you in positions that your past tried to convince you were impossible. Not because you forced your way in, but because I ordained it. People will look at you and wonder how you arrived there. They will underestimate what they cannot see, your endurance, your humility, your faithfulness, your integrity. They will not know the cost behind your confidence. As I position you, I will also protect you. You are not entering these places as a guest. You are stepping into them as someone called, chosen, and equipped. Hear me with finality and peace. I am completing the work in you. The healing, the growth, the transformation, the inner rebuilding that you once believed would always remain unfinished. You've carried areas of your life that felt incomplete, parts of your story that never resolved, patterns you desperately wanted to break but felt powerless against, habits you struggled to overcome, emotional wounds that reopened whenever life pressed on them. There were moments when you looked at your life and thought, maybe this is as good as it gets. Maybe I'll always be like this. But hear my voice. Nothing I begin in you is ever left incomplete. I am a finisher. I am a restorer. I bring full circle what life tried to break in half. I bring resolution to what trauma left hanging. I bring closure to what confusion prolonged. I bring completion to what discouragement interrupted. The areas of your life that felt perpetually unfinished are not signs of failure. They are signs that the story was still unfolding. Now I am bringing you into completion. The kind of completion where your heart feels steady, your mind feels clear, your spirit feels grounded, and your purpose feels aligned. The kind of completion where the old you is no longer fighting the new you for control. The kind of completion where what once triggered you now teaches you, where what once weakened you now strengthens others through your testimony. You will notice this completion in small ways first, then larger shifts. Habits breaking, patterns ending, clarity forming, cycles closing. This is not the end of your growth. This is simply the moment when the unfinished places finally find their resolution. You will not live half-filled. You will not walk half-healed. I am finishing what I began in you. And when I finish, it will be beautiful, complete, and unmistakably divine. If you are ready to step into what was spoken over you, place your hand over your heart, whisper yes, and then take one concrete next step in the next 24 hours toward the dream that stirred in you during this reading. Let this be the moment you move from hearing to doing. Amen.